right. Looks like we're good. Let me just check to make sure. Yes, I got my microphone, the right microphone on. Sometimes my, I don't know, this new Melon app just started using switches over to my Blue Snowball microphone, which is absolute garbage. Use my ATR 2100. Anyway, today we're going to talk about something that really helps you when you're down, but won't get you to where you want to go, basically. And in fact, a lot of coaching programs sell this and it works for a little bit. And then either you get out of the program or things happen and you come spiraling down. So the one of the things that isn't enough, let me switch over to my iPad here, is motivation. Motivation can be very helpful. People get pretty low and they get to some dark thoughts and dark feelings, and motivation can really help them get out of that funk. So it is useful, but it's not enough, right? Because it'll get you up, but it ain't going to get you to where you want to go. And I don't know. I've done so many different coaching programs and learned a lot, and I'm old, so I've seen a lot of stuff, right? And I noticed that a lot of people, a lot of programs will pump you up. You feel really good, like yeah, and that works for a while until you actually get into things and you realize I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I don't have the tools I need to succeed, right? So with motivation, I always say motivation, it's great. It just isn't enough. And like I said, I've seen programs that they have real good communities, right? Which is important because they say the community gets you to stick around. But it's almost like, and I'm a big fan of this guy, like it's almost like a Tony Robbins event. Like people go to a Tony Robbins event, they feel fantastic, they feel like pumped up, they're motivated. They come home and, for a couple of days, maybe a couple of weeks, maybe even heck a month, they are pumped up and they're motivated, and it wears off. And then they have to, just either keep doing chasing these events, which, it can be useful. But the fact of the matter is there's two factors in this, right? One of them is almost like think about something like, to me, like motivation. I did a video a long time ago, like 5-6 years ago, called Motivation is BS, right? And when you think about it, we need to do I need to do this and then do that, right? And motivation can help you get going. But like, do you have to be motivated to, like, if you love, I talked to a friend and he was like, I asked him, what is your favorite thing to do? And he's like, I like to be out in nature and I like to, do photography. And I'm like, do you need to be motivated? Do you need to be held accountable for that? And he's like, no. Right. So some of us are probably on the wrong path. Right. And then also some of us just need to suck it up because we do things. And when it gets hard, I'm certainly not exempt from this. Right. When shit gets hard, it's really easy to want to pivot to do other things, but you need to get through it. So basically, motivation isn't bullshit, but it is kind of BS because it's not going to get you. It's going to get you up, but it ain't going to get you there, right? So what do you need, right? So you got the motivation is BS, and motivation doesn't last. But the problem is, and I hate to talk about different things and programs, but like if you've taken a number of programs, you might have seen this, where you get super excited when you join the program, everything's going great, and that alone can help you get results because you're in a good state, you're in a positive state, you're feeling great. But sooner or later, life is gonna, like Mike Tyson says, everyone has a game plan until they get punched in the face. Life is gonna punch you in the face, right? Get punched in the face, and then what happens? Well, then you fall to your level of training, right? What have you worked on? What have you mastered? Because there's certain things that, it's a silly sports analogy, but like people like Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, I mean, they shot like 1,000 free throws a day. They practiced layups. I think Michael Jordan, the first thing he practiced when he started, every day when he went to practice was like a bounce pass. Like it's like the easiest thing to do, like the first thing you learn, and yet he practiced it over and over again, right? So it's almost like, what are your habits? What are you? Oops. What are you? I mean, I heard this thing a long time ago. It's like people that are really good do it till they get it right, and people who are like the best, who are like extraordinary, do it until they can't do it wrong, right? And I think that's the thing. We need to work on not just motivation, but we need to work on skills. Like, what are you really, really good at? How do you practice it? How do you drill it? Right. Especially what I do is help clients with their enrolling calls, right? With their sales calls or whatever. And that takes a little bit of work because you can get motivated and you can get sales. You know what I mean? You can it just happens. It's like even like when people are new into any sales industry, they're really motivated. They feel good. They they call it, they're green. They say when you're green, you grow. When you're ripe, you rot, or something like that. And people that would start off in sales would just crush it because and then they start learning too much. And well, it's not really learning too much, but then they come across things and then they start thinking they know everything. Right? Oh, this person can't buy. Oh, this person is just a this or that. Oh, I'm not going to waste my time with this because they start getting too smart, right? So you have to build up your skills and you have to have a process. Okay. So this is the thing. People don't have a process because if you focus on the process and not the outcome, did you do like, okay, did I do this right? 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 Oh, I didn't do that. Oh, I didn't do that. Okay. Well, let's work on these things. Right. And then you get the outcome. When I first got into sales, like one of my first sales gigs when I was young, I got into the car business. And the cool thing, I don't know, I ended up coming across some good sales training tapes, believe it or not, and some horrible ones. But after like the fifth one I saw was really good, and I was like, wow, this makes sense. Like I would listen to this guy, I would do this. This was so opposite against everything that they taught in the car business. And one of the things I learned was that there are certain steps, to getting someone to from standing walking on a lot to driving away in the car, and there was all these different steps in between. And if you skipped a couple of them, it doesn't mean you wouldn't get the sale, but like it really start messing up. And I realized that all I would do is if I'm on step one, I just get a step two. It's kind of like the copywriting thing, right? The email, right? The subject line is just to get them to open the email, right? And then the first sentence is just get them to read the second sentence, et cetera, et cetera. And the same thing with like a sales process. If you don't have a sales process, you just have like and I have a framework, so I'm not like step by step by step like that, right? Because I like to improvise and I like to, but there's a structure, right? I find that there's either one or two people. There's people that have like these bloated scripts that are like 20 pages long, and they're just not present. Their heads in the script. They miss so many things. It's ridiculous. It's like almost like the first thing I want to do is almost like just throw that away. Just be a person and talk to them. That alone will help you enroll more clients. And then you have the other person that just wants to wing it, right? And just kind of be in the moment. And it's really hard to do that. It's really hard to do that unless you have a lot of reps under your belt. Because you're going to get lost, you're going to miss things, you're going to feel like you're drowning on the call, you're not going to know what's going on, right? So I like to have frameworks and how to get through certain sections, but there's definitely like a process. So if I go back to each of the, I guess, sections or stages, I can kind of go see, okay, did I check all these boxes? Yes. Did I check all these boxes? No. Well, there you go. Right. Instead of focus on, I got a sale, I'm great. I didn't get a sale, I'm a piece of crap. Right. It doesn't matter. Go through the thing. Like I did a call breakdown yesterday for a client, and we had an hour call, and I only got through 8 minutes of the call. Sometimes it just happens. Sometimes it's like this is just like these fine-tuned things that you miss. I remember listening to like a 30 seconds. It was like, okay, boom, what did you get from that? And I had these three big points, right? And I was like, these are things that we need to handle. We need to talk about, like ask to dig deeper. And the problem is sometimes people will take notes, really good notes, and they're going to plan on circling back to it, but they never do. So one of the things I do is after a handful, 3 to 5 points where I'm not clear on something, heck, sometimes I'll just interrupt right away And so hold on a second, like that sounds great, but I'm not sure I understand. Like when you said XYZ, what did you mean, specifically? And getting all the picture, right? Because this person's calls are a little long, and it's only because of that. It's about being able to just tie those things together. Like, what do you need to know? How do you get to this? And it was a great call because it was like all these things were like boom, 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 and it was just these little things, right? The old saying, little hinges swing big doors. So it wasn't a ton of stuff. It was just a couple little things that happen a lot through the call. And it's like, okay, cool. When you solve this, you're going to shorten your call by 30 minutes, maybe 40 minutes, and you're going to have a clear picture. Because the problem is when you're not clear and it means you have to ask more questions. And if you're asking so many questions, it's like it can feel like an interrogation. It can just be exhausting. I just want to get off the phone. I'm just tired of answering these questions instead of knowing how to ask the questions the right way and go cut through the stuff. What does that mean? What is, I don't know what that means. Tell me this. Boom, 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 boom. And then you have a clear picture. And then you know if they're a good fit or not, right? And this is another thing. The client was looking like, I want to see if I can help them, right? Of course you can help them. If they're a good fit, you can help them, right? So it's like shifting that. Instead of saying, I want to see if I can help them, you can qualify them. I want to see if they're a good fit. I want them to prove to me that they're even a good fit for what I offer. And just that mindset coming from that place, it shifts everything. It shifts everything. So I guess the main thing is if you're in a program that is in motivation, try to get the real meat and potatoes of stuff, right? Not just the fluff and feel good. And I mean, like I said, there's all places on that put your focus on gratitude definitely helps. Good stuff to do. Writing affirmations out, it can help. It can help as long as you're working on your skill set too. You need both. All mindset and no skill set, you're just delusional. You're just delusional, right? And then all skill set and no mindset, you're going to have everything right to do and you're going to keep messing it up, right? So you really need to bring both of them together. To me, I think that they kind of go hand in hand. The more skill set you have, the more confidence you have, the better your mindset becomes, right? Because you want to, like, obviously you can program yourself to feel good for no reason, and that's awesome. We should feel good for no reason, okay? But when we have reason to feel good, that's going to create more certainty. And when you have more certainty, you can show up on your call more powerfully. But if you're all just, if in your heart you don't believe what you're writing down and saying, it's a long, frustrating thing where you keep writing the things down. I don't understand. I don't understand. Like, work on your skill set. Get a coach. Have someone help you through that, through certain things. If you're struggling with your Facebook ads, get someone to look at your ads, tell you what's going on. Why is it not working? What's this and that? If you're struggling with your enrollment calls, find someone that will listen to your calls and tell you, this is what you meant. This is what's wrong. This is what's costing you deals. This is why the objections are coming up. This is why you're not enrolling people. And this is what you need to do to fix it. Because the biggest challenge coaches have that can't enroll clients is they don't know what they're doing wrong, or they don't know what they're missing on their calls. And you can do mindset work all day long and you're never going to figure it out. Right? Like I always say this, if I want a hole in my backyard and I just meditate and picture a hole in my backyard, yeah, maybe a random stranger could come in my backyard and randomly dig a hole, but chances are that's not going to happen. If I want to find a hole in my backyard, I got to get a shovel. I got to pick up the phone and call someone to do it. Right? It's not going to just happen. Right? So that's the thing. It's like, it's almost dismissive sometimes. Oh, you need to double down on your mindset. You need to work on mindset work. Yeah, maybe. Or maybe you need to get some skill set. I don't know. Whatever you think. All right, guys. If you have any questions, put them in the comments below. I'm not sure. This is going to multiple places. So, and if you need anything, reach out to me. If you want someone to listen to your calls and you're done with struggling, just hit me up, because it's simple. Not easy, but it's simple for me to hear and tell you what exactly is going wrong. All right, everyone. Have a good one and take it easy.